stages of the irony. It's also possible. Yeah, the last day, it makes sense that most of the when the cycle is destroyed. The last stage of the cycle is not. Earlier, that's when you find the proportions, that's the one part of that was built about. This was attacked in the 40s. The Bible also tells us came after Jerusalem and they gave him a lot of counsel. So he kept going. And we have also the accounts of Shishak himself. But that doesn't mention
Yeah, right? So wait, so what does Richard do professionally? Big.
I know, I heard.
Did you always work for him?
No.
So what did you do?
It's kind of what I'm doing in my commercial. No, I was a sound, well,
Oh, wow.
I was a live sound company. If you went to a concert, you listened to RPMs, then towards the they're so reverberative, there's no way to get to the speech.
Like the acoustics?
Quarter,
Hey.
area G.
No, we specialize in entertainment venues, house of worship, and anything in commercial space, even office space. Everything from paging systems to messaging and all systems. Basically, straight at work.
Very
Took some training in architectural acoustics.
nice. Nice. By the way, guys, you see how our dog's controlling in here?
Oh, yeah.
So you were going to talk in a second. Excuse me?
to some extent follows the Yigal Shiloh theory, okay? And these were the guys who worked here. But there are other opinions about the date and the function of these. One thing is for sure, at a later stage, someone built a home on top of this retaining wall. Not exactly an ideal location, you'll agree with me. It's very steep. Why would you, in this very tough environment, almost like on a Masada cliff, build a home here? Maybe because you want to be in the right neighborhood, maybe because you want to be next to the king. You understand? This is circumstantial evidence, but you could argue that because of the importance of the dweller upstairs, someone wanted to live here. Who is he? We don't know, but making a rather big home with 4 pillars supporting the roof indicates wealth. All of the bulas that I've mentioned were found in the debris at the bottom here, but you could argue that they were from the archive in this building. Again, indicates status, and it makes perfect sense to argue that a scribe lived next to the king. And you can see another indication of wealth by one thing that he had, which was quite rare in those days. a toilet seat, a toilet room. Where is it? What am I talking about? Look at this single stone, which is indented in the middle for your tush, and it's got a hole right in the middle. It even has a small hole in the front. It's just the right anatomical shape
That's funny.
for that use. And wait, it gets better. We took soil samples from the field underneath it and examined it microscopically, and we could see what this person was eating. Okay, most of it was the expected local diet. Olive pits, baked pits, indication of grain, and so on. On the other hand, late Iron Age. Everything, this is all up late Iron Age. Interestingly enough, on the other hand, they also found parasite which develops in bad, not well maintained meat.
Perhaps David.
A wealthy person, high status in the society, and he's eating bad food. How can you explain this? Maybe, possibly, not Jeremiah, but it is mentioned that under siege in Samaria, the prices of food would go very high. As a result, and it was very hard to access, to reach the necessities. Maybe this is reflecting this, and it's more certain that there is a reflection of the Babylonian conquest in the area on the right side. This area was given the title by Shiloh's team, the burnt room, because in it they found a lot of pottery in shards, all late Iron Age, and much of it with a clear, dark color to it, from the heavy fire that consumed it. Apparently the fire of 586, the Babylonian conquest. Arrowheads were also found in that destruction layer. We cannot tell enough between Babylonian to Assyrian to local arrowheads, but they all seem to be from those dramatic days of the 7th and 6th century. And burnt wood that seems to have been originally part of some fancy, well-designed furniture. Okay, the tree is also not local tree, but something imported to this area. All of this again indicates wealth, central location. This is it. This is touching base with the capital of the Old Testament, of biblical Jerusalem. Maybe the scribe living here was involved with putting into writing some parts of the Bible, which was, scattered material, oral traditions. Maybe the process began here. This is really amazing stuff. This would be a World Heritage Site, way before any of the other sites that I've mentioned so far in this tour. In Bathsheba, okay? She was bathing on the rooftop, and he saw it. And what he saw was apparently so pleasing. It drove him so passionate that he was willing to create a scheme in which her husband will die eventually, and he will have her. Okay, from that marriage, Solomon was born. I'm not saying this is the place, but it is tempting to suggest that the building over here, okay, its rooftop will be watched from the king if he's in the palace above it. And this illustrates to some level, okay, the story that we are familiar with from the Bible. That's another biblical connection you can do.
And you really see it's where the Talmud really lives.
That would be much shabbier looking.
That'd be her.
Tomb entrances here.
We know that Solomon had a pharaoh's daughter as a wife, so you could argue this is the tomb of the pharaoh's daughter. We don't know which pharaoh, but it's circumstantial evidence which
Tomb of
enables
Pharaoh's
us to-
daughter.
or the literature to suggest this is the daughter of Pharaoh.
where do you say it is?
Little arch.
Under the arch. You see a lot of debris. You see a blue bag there.
Yeah.
And above it, a built arch. Right over the rock. Above that small arch, there is one building with a door. The cornice above it is stretching out.
Yeah.
In fact, popular speculation coming out of this find was
That
arguing
was a
that
Kenite
David
system.
may have climbed this pipe in order to enter the city by surprise, open the doors for his warriors, and so conquer the city. Why do we think so? Because the text tells us that David, when he decides to create a new capital for the United Kingdom, he now united all of the tribes under his power. It says that he went against the Jebusites, and he cursed the blind and the lame, and he touched the pipe, and he founded the fortress of Zion in Jerusalem. Okay? If anyone understood from this what exactly happened, the battle, please let us know. What exactly is cursing the blind and the lame? What pipe touching means? Okay, it looks like it's like pieces are missing from the original text when one of the copies was made. So we don't completely understand it. But if touching a pipe meant using one of the water shafts, then you could argue he climbed this shaft and entered the city. And this was for more than 100 years the theory presented in textbooks. One thing is for sure. This was not enough, because at the end of the day, you get water by going underground and drawing with a rope and a bucket from the bottom here. 701, the city is filled with refugees escaping from the north. The city expands way beyond its limit from the time of King David. Arbi, if you could move just a bit to the right, here is a suggestion. Here's a suggestion of what David's city used to look like. The water source is over here, but by the time of King Hezekiah, it was much, much bigger. It included all of this area, including what we call today Mount Zion. Fetching water by rope was not enough to provide for everyone. So Hezekiah decides to take all of the water from the source to a secured area in the south. He creates a tunnel which draws the water from this point. Look at this addition. And that tunnel will go 533 meters all the way to the southern part of the city, drawing the water by gravity. It's a bit lower. To the southern part where he installed a pool. Now, in this model, it looks like it doesn't make sense. The pool is outside city walls. But by the time of Hezekiah, the city is much bigger and it includes it. The name of that pool is the Siloam Pool. So is the name of the tunnel, or you could call it Hezekiah's tunnel. And the bottom line, it worked. It worked. The city was not conquered by Sennacherib. We saw his campaign against Lachish, big success. But as for Jerusalem itself, the Bible tells us that he attempted, but an angel struck the Assyrian army. They woke up in the morning, 185,000 warriors are dead. Big loss of it. The fact that he doesn't record a conquest of the city admits, in a way, that he indeed failed to conquer it. Okay? And then archaeology provides what may have been the explanation for all of this. Well done preparation, storage jars with Lamelech stamps on them. We think they all relate to this activity. Fortifying the city, making storerooms, and the Bible tells us when he concludes the biography of Hezekiah, he mentions the fact that he took the water of the city and took them to a different location. He channeled them. Okay? This is basically that tunnel that took the water from the source to Siloam Pool. It really worked. It saved the day, and it still works. It still works to this day. 2,700 years that this tunnel is operating. And some of you are going to experience it. I wanted to make a visitor center, and to everyone's surprise, it turns out that the shaft doesn't end here. That the underground tunnel really continues here, ends up on top of a big water reservoir. And you see, it's already more than hinting that we should move on. So as we descend, we will see what the new theory suggests. All of this this is not considered poetry, what I just presented. Without
Well, that's what I'm asking.
honest antiquity theory, it's almost a contradiction of terms.
Okay. So I guess I
So
should.
careful of those things.
Well, that's the reason I'm asking. I didn't know whether to pursue it or not.
Most of them are found broken. Hezekiah smashed all of these idols at some point. Clear the path, please. People are passing. Please clear the path. From what I know, for the head alone, you can pay this much. For the whole body, that's extremely rare. And 1900
This
sounds too
must be
cheap
a
to me.
ripoff then.
Real bargain or clever forgery? Maybe they found the pieces. Many things can be done in this field.
Okay, I'm
You can
glad
take
you.
a whole ossuary and claim it's the brother of
I've seen so many of these that have been discovered, found, and I thought that'd be great to
Listen.
take home.
Opening up here. Look down on the shaft.
This is gonna come out.
I said, we'll have to check it out. I'm taking pictures of other people's toys.
Another point, the shaft, the worn shaft, is actually, has no chisel marks on it, and in the middle of it, it's very narrow. Okay, no one ever dared addressing this subject.
It's natural.
But if someone wanted to take water out that shaft, you know, it bangs against the side, you can lose half of your water. Something here doesn't match. The new theories promoted by Roni Reich and Eli Shukron is arguing, I'm sorry, we have a total misunderstanding. That shaft is nothing but a natural cavity, totally discovered by chance when they were making Hezekiah's tunnel. They realized it's underneath this, and they then lowered the floor here. But for what purpose? Ventilation, setu. Okay? It's new material, but there's more, even newer material coming. Silent, I mean, no historical evidence whatsoever about this. Only the Bible hints to the existence of a city called Shalem, which is maybe this place. Okay, but we know nothing beyond that. Big, interesting surprise. Let us get to the water. Meters away from here, 1,200 feet to the other side of the city, down south.
Where they used to come in.
Okay, you can hear the water, let's see the water.
And begin our descent.
Yeah, that's it. There it is. Warren shaft is not. That's how you guys
We
are
have
doing.
two tunnels. We have Hezekiah's tunnel and the Canaanite tunnel.
I don't know.
Yeah, wait for me. I'm going on the wet tunnel.
Yeah, you go ahead.
No, I think I'll take it.
Be careful with
Where's
it.
the wet tunnel?
Come on down.
Where's the wet tunnel? That's it, on the other side. They're already screaming.
Where's the flashlight?
I'll get it.
This spring is basically.
We're going back?
I'm going. You going in the wet one?
No.
This is how you used to start.
Only if you're going to the wet one, you go down there.
Where drive me?
Can you saw it? This way. You see it? This is where Hezekiah's tunnel begins. This dried up. It's got to be from an earlier stage. The huge rocks above it suggest this is also Canaanite. And indeed it's dated to the Middle Bronze Age. This, in fact, fed the water reservoir that you saw before from above. That junction there takes the water, took the water, and this is what suggests that all of this is Canaanite. Only the Hezekiah's tunnel is the addition of 701, and when they did it, they also found the shaft and used it for ventilation while quarrying their way through. Okay, so let's walk to some extent through the Canaanite tunnel, and then we'll go back to the surface.